March 26, 1991. It's 9:15 p.m. at Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang, just outside Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Singapore Airlines Flight 117, an Airbus A310, takes off smoothly into the night sky. On board, there are 114 passengers, folks from Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, Britain, and travelers from a dozen other nations, plus 11 crew members, led by Captain Stanley Lim, a seasoned pilot with years of flights under his belt. Among the crew is Ted Ang, a 23-year-old air steward in his first year with SIA, barely a month into flying this Airbus. It's a short shuttle to Singapore's Changi Airport, a trip so routine you could set your watch to it. But minutes later, after the flight reaches its cruising altitude, everything changes. 4 Pakistani men who had been sitting quietly in different sections of the economy cabin suddenly leaped up, yelling at everyone to stay seated, claiming they've got explosives, dynamite sticks, and lighters in hand. They storm the cockpit, slam the door open, and confront Captain Lim with a list of demands that's about to turn this flight into an international crisis. This isn't just a hijacking. It's a geopolitical mess about to explode. Now, these 4 guys aren't your average troublemakers. They're claiming to be part of the Pakistan People's Party, supporters of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, who had been ousted from power in August 1990. They've got some serious demands. First, they want the release of certain political prisoners back in Pakistan, including Asif Ali Zardari, the husband of former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, who's locked up amidst all sorts of political chaos over there. Second, they demand to speak to the Pakistani ambassador in Singapore and Bhutto herself. And third, and this is where it gets nuts, they want the plane to fly all the way to Australia. They may have believed that taking the plane there would increase international media coverage and pressure Pakistan into releasing the prisoners. Australia from Singapore on a plane that's designed for short hops, let alone thousands of miles across the Indian Ocean. Captain Lim sitting there trying to process this, knowing full well this Airbus A310 isn't built for that kind of haul. But these hijackers, they're not hearing it. They're shouting, waving knives, threatening to blow the whole plane sky high if he doesn't comply. After intense discussion, Captain Lim managed to persuade the hijackers that the Airbus must stop in Singapore for refueling before continuing to Sydney, Australia. At 10:15 p.m., Flight 117 touched down at Singapore's Changi Airport, exactly as scheduled in the original flight plan. But there's nothing routine about what happens next. The aircraft taxis to a remote section of the airfield where it sits, engines running, as a tense hostage situation unfolds under the glaring airport lights. Inside that cabin, it's pure chaos. Passengers are terrified. Some are writing letters to their families, thinking this is it. The hijackers split into groups, each taking control of a critical part of the aircraft. The leaders stayed in the cockpit, standing over Captain Lim and his co-pilot. Meanwhile, the other 3 hijackers positioned themselves among the passengers, barking orders, telling everyone to keep their heads down, stay quiet, or else they've got what looks like dynamite taped together and are not shy about showing it off. Captain Lim remains in the cockpit, desperately trying to reason with the hijackers' leader. He explains the harsh reality of the fuel situation, saying, even if we refuel in Singapore, we won't make it to Australia. We'll crash into the ocean. The A310 simply doesn't have the capacity for that journey. But the hijacker isn't buying it. He's convinced Lim is stalling, spinning lies to trick them into surrendering. His response is cold and unwavering. We'll fly as far as we can. And if we run out of fuel, we'll crash into the ocean. If we die, everyone dies. A team of officials from different ministries, alongside Singapore Airlines representatives and a dedicated negotiating team led by Superintendent Phu Kia Jua, gathered at the airport and prepared to establish communication with the hijackers the moment they reached. Negotiations were primarily carried out through Captain Lim, who served as the intermediary, relaying messages between the hijackers and the authorities. The Singaporean negotiators employ classic crisis management techniques, buying time, making small concessions on minor requests, and working to build rapport with the hijackers.
"We're taking your demands very seriously," they assure them. "But these things take time. The Pakistani government needs to be consulted, and the prisoners you want to be released are held in different facilities." Through strategic negotiation, they aim to buy precious time by delaying the refueling process while carefully managing the hijackers' expectations, striving to de-escalate the situation and prevent further violence.
However, the hijackers escalated their threats by dousing the cockpit and control panel with alcohol seized from the first-class cabin, warning that they would set the plane on fire if it wasn't refueled immediately. As tensions reached a boiling point, they turned their violence towards the crew members, brutally beating one member before forcibly throwing him from the aircraft. The victim was hurled out of the plane's door, plummeting 4.5 meters onto the hard tarmac below. In response, Singapore negotiators agreed to refuel the plane and requested that the hijackers allow the aircraft to be moved to the designated refueling point on the outer tarmac. Behind the scenes, the Singapore Armed Forces are on high alert, meticulously preparing for the worst-case scenario. From a safe distance, they closely monitor the unfolding crisis, analyzing every development and standing ready to respond if the situation escalates. A few hours passed since the negotiators agreed to refuel the plane, but the fuel had yet to arrive. Frustrated and growing more agitated, the hijackers retaliated by pushing another crew member out of the aircraft. Finally, a fuel truck pulled up, and the hijackers seemed to believe they were getting what they wanted.
Convinced they were on their way to Sydney, until the Superintendent Fu Kia-jua informed them that a single load of fuel wouldn't be enough for the journey, and that they would need another refueling. This revelation sent the hijackers into a furious rage, escalating their aggression once again.
By 6:45 a.m., the hijackers drop a bombshell. They're setting a deadline of 5 minutes. If they don't fly, they'll start killing one passenger every 10 minutes. Imagine that. Almost 9 hours of this nightmare, and now there's a countdown. Captain Lim's pleading with them. "We can't fly that far, we'll all die." But the leader's not listening. The passengers can feel it, death's creeping closer every second. Just 3 minutes before the deadline expired, the hijackers were on the brink of carrying out their deadly plan, until the Singapore Armed Forces received the order to strike. What followed was a lightning-fast, precision-executed assault that left many passengers recalling only flashes of the chaos. In a perfectly coordinated strike, 20 SAF commandos, clad in black with their faces concealed behind balaclavas, stormed the aircraft. Using specially designed extendable ladders, they breached multiple entry points simultaneously, catching the hijackers completely off guard. Flashbang grenades, designed to disorient rather than injure, explode in the cabin, filling it with blinding light and deafening sound. The commandos move in a practiced formation, identifying and neutralizing threats with efficiency. In the cockpit, the leader of the hijackers reacts to the commotion by attempting to detonate his explosive device, but in an instant, 5 precisely placed shots from the SAF commander's weapon strike him in the chest. He collapses against the instrument panel, dead before he hits the floor.
Throughout the cabin, the other 3 hijackers meet similar fates as they reach for their knives. The SAF team's orders are clear. The threat must be eliminated with absolute certainty and minimal risk to hostages. By 6:50 a.m., all 4 hijackers lie dead. The only injuries to passengers or crew are minor ones. 2 flight attendants sustained light bruises during the confusion of the assault, and several passengers suffered temporary hearing impairment from the flashbangs.
The precision of Operation Thunderbolt immediately captures international attention. Within hours, news outlets worldwide are reporting on Singapore's textbook hostage rescue. 30 seconds of action that ended a 9-hour nightmare without a single hostage fatality.
In the investigation that followed, authorities confirmed what Captain Lim had suspected from the beginning. The hijackers' explosives were completely fake, just wooden sticks and electrical tape designed to look threatening. Their only real weapons had been knives, and the fear they instilled. For 9 harrowing hours, That fear had been enough to hold 125 lives in the balance. For Ted Ang, the young air steward, the experience proves transformative. Rather than leaving the airline industry as many expected, he doubles down on his career, eventually becoming one of SIA's most respected trainers, specifically teaching new flight attendants how to handle crisis situations. What happened that night showed me what I was capable of, he explained years later. If I could stay calm during those 9 hours, I could handle anything this job throws at me. Perhaps most poignantly, the passengers of SQ117 form an unlikely bond. For years afterward, a core group holds annual reunions, commemorating not the trauma they endured, but the fact that they survived it together.
Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Thank you for watching.